Welcome back. So today I have decided to do a video about advice for degenerate time. So why is that video? So let's start by the start. Let's explain what is a degenerate time. We need to understand that the degenerate time is what in Vedic they call the Kali Yuga. For us who follow the Buddha Dharma, we're talking about the middle of the law. So that's what the Buddha explains. That's when the virtue of people going down, and also when the virtue is going down, basically there is problems that's generated by that. And that's what we call degenerate time. So to start, when we look at the degenerate time, we need to understand what does affect us. So in our time today, for example, we got a lot of ego grasping. So at Gertrude Rinpoche, you have to talk about that. Is basically we are obsessed and selfish. That affect also Buddha Dharma practitioner. So to talk about the effect on Dharma practitioner, we need to look on what's happening. So let's start on. I've seen a lot of examples, for example, of people without having the base, what we call non-draw, jumping on tantra, thinking that the only way they're gonna to be able to understand the true nature of mind. So that degeneration to doing that, so that doesn't not just damage the practitioner. So for example, if you do two more without training, you can have mental health problem, you can have physical problem. I've seen some practitioners having heart disease because of doing stuff like that. And that's damage also the Lama reputation. So that's not quite good. And that's damage the lineage reputation. So what is also not quite good. And ultimately that's damaging the Dharma altogether. So my first advice is, if you are not ready for Tantra, if you don't have the training, don't do Tantra. Don't have things that for years to some of my students, but no, I think I needed to do a video about that because I've seen some big nonsense. So we need to understand that Tantra is for very few people. And those very few people, they got a training for that. And now we got to explain the right way to practice. So in the word of my perfect teachers, they explain that in a sutra, the Buddha said we need to take the Dharma as a medicine because we are sick of ego grasping. And the first thing we need to understand that the Lama give us a training, way to practice, a teaching to understand because he understood our ego was grasping on some kind of stuff, and that's the way we need to clear our mind to understand our true Buddha nature. So my first advice on this one is, if your Lama have give you some advice, stick to that. Doesn't jump to tantras or anything else without asking the permission. Lama Tensong had a very, very good advice on that back in time. I remember when he said, you cannot build a stupa without foundation. And so to realize our true Buddha nature, we need to realize the 6 paramitas. And the foundation of Buddha Dharma is understanding impermanence, understanding our precious human life, understanding the fault of samsara, and practicing the path. When we got that at core, we can start to properly practice. But Milarepa said himself, to re-practice, we need to practice with bodhicitta. And Karchen Rinpoche is all over bodhicitta. Without bodhicitta, basically, you don't practice. So bodhicitta is basically altruistic mind, compassion and love. And we need to understand that without bodhicitta, we're not really practicing. And that's the second advice for time. The third advice is another advice that I had myself from Gegupa Lama, who have been teaching me a lot, is when you get advanced, you need a Dharma protector. So why do we need a Dharma protector? Because in our time we got tons of problems. So not just material problems, but all kinds of problems. And those problems have created problems in our practice. And Dharma protector usually gonna help us. Also, so the first advice is always follow your Lama. The second advice is practice with bodhicitta. Third advice is having a Dharma protector for those who get advanced in the past. If you are not advanced, don't worry about it. And the first advice is also, basically, don't be what I call a Dharma addict. Is basically you do everything by Dharma and basically you forget your life. As Buddha said himself, be a good practitioner is be a good human. So we need to remember that the way to renounce about the samsara is very easy. Is we have to renounce in a mind. That doesn't mean we renounce our responsibility, run to the mountain and become like Milarepa. In our times, that's barely impossible. And we need to understand that basically our mind is a deity. For that, we need to work on that every single day. Also, we need to understand that our mind, we need to understand the true nature of mind. So for that, also we need to not just practice straight away, but also learn about it. So the balance between teaching and practice is very important. But as Patro Rinpoche said himself, you can have billions of teaching and do nothing, or you can have one teaching and master it. So usually we need to see when we got tons of teaching, but if you don't use it and don't change it, we are not on to practicing Dharma. That's it. That's it for today. I hope you have enjoyed. Let's dedicate this one. Sanam Degenerate.